Hi everybody, I want to talk to you about the implications of the vote to bomb Syria, and also I'm going to talk to you about the scenario in the Middle East. Why are we here? Why is it non-stop? Why is it relentless? So I'm going to start way back. I'm going to start way back in 2001. So in 2001, the US, along with the CIA and the Saudis, blew up the Twin Towers. It's as simple as that. They blew the towers up. Because why go after Afghanistan when 15 of the 19 supposed terrorists on that day were from Saudi Arabia? In fact, just get your head round this one. On that day, just like in Paris, just like in 7/7, a plane flies into a building. Apparently it melts the building. I can't even, in fact I'm laughing just talking about it. And a passport falls out at sky. A passport falls out at sky. So we've got to attack Afghanistan. It's absolutely ludicrous. Firstly, the building couldn't fall straight down. It's a steel structured building. It wouldn't just drop free fall straight down like they did. It's impossible. It's been proven impossible. It's absolutely impossible. And if you look at pictures, and I want you to look at pictures, I don't want you to Google it, you'll see the steel structure's got diagonal cut marks all over it. They're charged detonations. That's a controlled detonation. There's also what's called Building 7. Now there was a video posted on here. One of the gentlemen here in the UK took the BBC to court, refused to pay his TV licence because he felt that he would be supporting terrorism. And I'll tell you why he did that. So if you look at the BBC reports from September the 11th, 2001, if you look at them reports, you'll see that a BBC reporter is talking about Building 7 having been another building that collapsed in the 9/11, and she's talking about it and the building still stood up. It didn't drop down for another 20 minutes, so they knew it was going to happen. And this building did come down free for all. Nothing hit it whatsoever. There's no plane hit it, no shrapnel hit it, no nothing. It just dropped straight down. So from that's what's called a false flag. And I want you to do a lot of reading on it, do a lot of research, and you'll realise what I'm talking. I'm not talking bullshit, I'm telling you straight. So from that we decided, even though there were 15 Saudis of the 19 terrorists, we're going to bomb Afghanistan. We're going to go after Osama bin Laden. Now, if you went back to the 70s, Osama bin Laden worked for the CIA. He was a good guy. He helped bring down the Russians. He helped fight them. They created him. They created this mujahideen that had the Wahhabi, Saudi, nutjob, fanatical ideology. And they created him and they give him a status. And now they want to bomb him. So why Afghanistan? Well, simple. Afghanistan's one of the largest producers of opium in the world. It was responsible prior to 9/11 for 10 to 15% of the world's production. Since 9/11 it's responsible for 90%. Opium's used in most pharmaceutical products. Yeah, all your vaccines and things like that, they're opium based. So that is ultimately why Afghanistan. But Afghanistan was just a tool to wage this war on terror. This war on terror that's been going on for 14 years. So from Afghanistan, you can watch the video, General Wesley Clark. Just watch the video. So after Afghanistan, General Wesley Clark tells us about a plan. This is a general that worked in the White House, in the Pentagon. So he's not some sort of lunatic conspiracy theorist. Yeah? Wearing a tin hat and whatever names people call people that have a different opinion. He's a general. And he's absolutely flabbergasted. He's gone in and one of his colleagues has said, listen, we've just had a report. We're going to be taking out 7 countries in 5 years. And started listing off the countries. Iraq, Syria, Iran, Libya. Starts listing them all off. But Syria wasn't bad then. Or Libya. So he asked, why Iraq? Are they involved in 9/11? They went, no. They're not involved in 9/11. They weren't involved in it. They weren't. But we just want to get rid of them. So we created this scenario, and it went out on mainstream media and got massive public support. Saddam Hussein's an absolute fruitcake. An absolute nut job. Yeah, he is brutal to his own people. Not like the Saudis aren't. I mean, the Saudis are just a model of society. But he's brutal to his own people. He's got weapons of mass destruction, and he's going to use them on us. He's going to use them on us. Oh my God. We need to deal with it. So they convinced us, they convinced the world that he's got weapons of mass destruction, and they gave him 45 minutes, and then we're going to start obliterating you. He kept telling him we didn't have him. His son even went and signed a mandate to say, actually, we haven't got any whatsoever. They've all gone. You've got South Africa, who offered to sign a mandate guaranteeing they didn't have any, but we just disregard all of that. We've got an agenda. We're going to take out Iraq. Yeah, so we go into Iraq. We didn't find any weapons of mass destruction. But what we did do is we found 4,000 tons of gold, and we took it, which is the Iraqi people's money. We took it, and we liberated the oil fields. We then run a pipeline into Israel. And another part of that, and another part of the reason for Iraq that they don't tell you, is Iraq refused to sell his oil in dollars as the currency, as the trading currency, because every time you do, the US make money on it. Refused to. And because it was a cash-rich country, they refused to have an IMF central bank. Yeah, so International Monetary Fund, or central bank, Google it. It's owned by the Rothschilds. It's not a... They make it sound like it's this world organisation that all governments are a part of, that it's publicly owned, but it's not, it's privately owned. It's privately owned by Zionist, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and all them boys. So they didn't have, I know you'll get to my point in a minute. So they didn't have a central bank, and they didn't sell the oil in dollars. Now they do. Now they're debted up to eyeballs like every other country in the world, or almost every other country in the world. So from Iraq, and it's absolutely proven that within the prisons for the jihadis in Iraq spawned ISIS. They were spawned, they were fueled, they were radicalised within these prisons. Yeah, it was purposely done. Yeah, so we can carry on this war on terror. Who benefits from war on terror? Well, it definitely isn't the Iraqis. I mean, we're going in there because he's a bad guy. We're going to liberate the country and help the people. Well, ask the Iraqi people if they feel like they've been helped. There's almost 2 million of them dead. The country is fucked. So ask the Iraqi people, have they been helped? They haven't been helped. They'd have preferred life under Saddam Hussein. There was no terrorism then. He didn't tolerate it. If you was a terrorist and you went into Iraq, boom, heads off, end of. No terrorists. So anyway, that we've been there, we've been fighting that war, we've been in Iraq now for 12 years, and there's a form of government in there now, but the place is fucked. The place is fucked. So we need another war. So we go and absolutely obliterate Colonel Gaddafi. and Libya. So why Colonel Gaddafi? You've got to ask yourself, why Colonel Gaddafi? He was painted to us all because he was this fruitcake that wore these glasses and this mad headscarf. And we all think, oh, fucking nut job. Media's telling us a fucking nut job. What a fucking nut job. He must be a dictator. What a fucking fruitcake. What they didn't tell you, that in Libya, they probably had one of the best standards of living of anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you why they did. So when Libya sold oil, the money went to the people, directly into the bank accounts. When you got married in Libya, the government, this dictator, gave you $50,000 to help set you up. When a child's born in Libya, you were given $5,000. If you wanted to be a farmer, they would give you the farm, the land, and the seeds to help you start. So why Libya? Because he definitely wasn't a dictator. You can ask the Libyan people. Absolutely not a dictator. They loved him. Absolutely loved him. But he was a strong voice in Africa. Very strong. Because Africa is, and should be, the richest nation on earth. The richest continent on earth. But it's not, because we rob it. And what Gaddafi was doing is he was bringing Africa together. They were going to launch a union currency, which is the gold dinar. They were going to launch it, and they were going to unite Africa and move away from the dollar. Think about it. So how is he a dictator? He isn't a dictator. I can prove that. There's enough reports out there. He absolutely wasn't a dictator. He was loved by his people. They had a great standard of living. Their education was at 87%. Absolutely outstanding for the region. The richest country in Africa by 1,000,000 miles. The best country in Africa to live in by 1,000,000 miles. But we decided we're going to take him out because he was moving away from the dollar and he was moving towards a gold dinar, which is dealing in actual gold. Yeah, so it's not copper that you've got in your pockets now and tin, it's actual gold, because that is the true currency. He also didn't have an IMF bank, a central bank owned by the IMF. He didn't have one. He's got one now. They're debted up to eyeballs. He's got one now. The country's absolutely fucked, but we were going in there to liberate the people yet again, to make their lives better. How much better did they want it? They got free electricity. They didn't have to pay for energy. They got it completely free by the government. So now it's a complete clusterfuck. It's ISIS controlled, Al Qaeda controlled, Al Nusra controlled. It's people getting their heads chopped off here, there, and everywhere, and it's just a terrorist state. That's all that is right now. And we did that. We did that. The French did that. The Americans did that. We did that, and it was deliberate. So, from that, we then decide we're going to go into